everybody. Welcome to Monday night's edition of Not Another Rangers podcast. And it's a star-studded panel. You may see some familiar faces. You may see some smiling faces like Ricky, who's there all the time. It's also a jam-packed show, so we have got a lot to cover in the space of an hour. We're going from game to game, day to day. We're at rest, recovery, rinse, repeat, all these sort of things, constantly going around the game. So we will talk through as much as we can. We'll cover as many comments as we can. As we always say at the start, like, subscribe and follow and all the other stuff that goes with it. I'm going to say hello first to our guest tonight. So I'm Gary, I'm your host. Ricky, how was your weekend? How have you been since I seen you a few days ago?
Yeah, very good, mate. I had an amazing weekend until I watched Rangers yesterday and they did their best to ruin it, but at least we got the 3 points. But I was pumpkin carving, Halloween costumes, you name it, parties with kids. So it was a good weekend, but Rangers, I don't know, mate. Where do we go from here?
And we'll get into that as the night goes on. Scott missed Friday because he was at a concert. He left early on Sunday to go to another concert. So tell the audience, Scott, where you were, who you were seeing, and in the comments, if anybody wants to put down if they knew any of the songs of the bands or have ever heard them, please feel free.
I put me in the spot, Gary. And Friday night, I went to see Wednesday 13, who was the lead singer in Murder Dolls in the rock band for the early 2000s. And last night I went to see Sum 41 because I get a ticket through the NHS. So I went to see last night Sum 41 last night at Idol, which was really good as well. So 2 good gigs.
Good. And if anybody starts saying in the comments knows any of their songs, feel free to share them. I know none of them, so it maybe give me a bit of a hint for what they are. And welcome back. Welcome back to Davey. Now, Davey's clean shaven, so you may not recognise him. So please speak so they recognise that voice of yours. How are we?
Aye, I'm good, Gary. Thanks very much for the welcome. I'd just like to put out there that I'm not actually dead, but thanks very much to everybody on Twitter and the socials that got in touch. I appreciated the well wishes, and I'm delighted to be back on.
Good. So, as I said at the start, we finished a game, but 26 hours ago, whatever it is, and there's another game in another 48 hours. So what we're going to do tonight is going to cover the St.Mirren game. As the title says, was it as bad as everyone is saying? And then we'll kind of look forward to the game on Wednesday night, which is about 40 hours away. So I suppose just very firstly, your broad reflections of the game now, 24 hours after. I'm going to come to you, Davey, first. Let you start off since you're back. What was your reflections of the game in general?
I have to be honest, Gary, I thought we were really poor. You look at Thursday's performance, and I get that FCSB had rested 6 players ahead of their weekend derby, but it was a confidence booster, and we did play some tidy stuff, and you're kind of hoping that momentum is going to carry you into Sunday. However, it was very sameish for a Philip Clement side playing domestic football. It was slow, sluggish, lethargic. We lost all what he calls your duels, your 50-50s. I think, especially in the first half, we come off second best. Again, at set pieces, I question how we set up. I know he does that thing where in the edge of the 6-yard box, he does the zonal marking, and then he lets guys then go and attack the spaces. But again, how many free headers did we give away? It's a major concern for me. And we're now over a year into Philip Clement's tenure, and the same things that keep happening throughout the calendar year that he's been in charge really, really worry me. Teams know how we're going to play, and it never changes, despite the fact that we've got a vast array of personnel where you would have the option to switch it up. He's very stubborn in the way that he likes to play, and teams like St.Mirren will just copy that game plan, and it's up to us to come up with a solution. But the longer the manager continues with his philosophy, I think it's going to be to the hindrance of the football club.
And we'll delve into a lot of those as the night goes on. So, again, Ricky, just your broad reflections of the game when you come 6 o'clock or 5 o'clock last night?
Yeah, pretty much the same as Davey. We spoke on Friday, and I spoke about momentum. I wanted to see a good performance after Thursday to take that into the Aberdeen match, and JD was of the opinion, just get the win. And okay, we got the win, that was fantastic. But When we seen the team sheet, I was excited, but I was hoping that Diamande was going to be on the left, and unfortunately, he was in the number 10 position, and he's a player. I'm sure we'll speak about him later on, but I think he slowed down everything and completely ruined the midfield. The midfield, we didn't win the midfield battles at all. Our defence. Kevin Thompson in commentary had a good point. You know, this guy, Olasanya, completely bullied Proper. And he said, look, if this is the case, if you're struggling against a centre-back, you should have one centre-back at the front and one centre-back behind them. But we were playing completely in a straight line. So the guy, every time he was winning the ball and he was bullying Proper, he was almost through on goal. It was absolutely incredible. And it took till 60 minutes till come on to take him off. And it was not a good day at the office for Proper. But like Davey says, it's almost a year now. The press conference after the game was as depressing as the performance. The last 10 minutes with some decent chances, and we could have got away with a 3-1 and it would have put some icing on the cake. But it was a really, really another turgid, boring, super boring performance at Ibrox. And Comont has to sort out our domestic forum, or the fans are going to turn big style, because it's been poor now. Every time we've played in Europe after, it's been really, really poor. We've managed to get the victories. We've been lucky we've been playing at Ibrox. But if things go sour against Aberdeen on Wednesday, then it's going to be the reaction is going to be pretty hostile, to be honest.
That's fine. And sorry, I've just read this comment. So it's a pile on people that don't go to the game. So me and Scott were at the game, met each other at half time with a chat about it. Scott, just your very brief reflections before we dig into the detail of the game. You're on mute.
Make mistakes because Davey's back. He's put me off. No, I thought the first half, Gary, I said to you weekend that we were poor in the first half. I thought a couple of players were okay. We were trying stuff, but we were getting some of Brighton is too easy. And I thought St.Mirren had their own the way they played. They changed the way they tried to play in the second half, and that gave me a favour. But St.Mirren knew if it just sat deep, hit us in the break, the long ball up to the big boy up front, it was going to cause us issues. But I thought our asking was really good. Barham was his usual self getting involved, trying to do stuff. But Cherny was decent myself. Thought Casemiro, whatever way I call him, thought right back he settled into the game more. But I will say he's probably looks more comfortable centre back. But I thought he settled. But I thought Balogun, I know he's got a lot of right ups for playing good. I thought in the first half he was quite poor with his passing. But Proper just, and I'll sit here and I'll hold my hands up. I'd try to give him a chance. I said he looks decent, technically good. But David called it out for day one, and so that's what I'm saying this night, because David's here, he's pointing fingers at me behind the scenes. But no, I don't know. David's probably got a good point when he said he probably came out a little too late. He doesn't like the physicality of our game, don't you know? He's not get the quickest turner pace he never has, but his awareness is poor. And when he gets touched when anybody's touched him, touch tight with a centre forward, he's looking for the fouls. Don't get that in Scotland. That's what strikers up here do. So I think he's a big issue to us. I think he was a main issue. I think Balogun looked nervous next to him. Really nervous. And Yefty is obviously a tight attack, so I thought he was trying his best at times to help him out, but he was struggling. But no, wasn't great. Thought Diamande started okay, but kind of faded. Rami's just a good player. She was playing number 10 role, but you credit to St.Mirren. They didn't really sit too deep to try to use the ball as much as possible, but the second half was a bit better. They got their 3 points, but we want to see more. The ball want to see more, and you always want to see more as a fan. You don't want to constantly say, we thought we got our 3 points, we want our next game. And that is great, but sometimes these performances are going to come back and bite us in the arse, like we've seen a few times.
Yeah. So we'll get into the game then. So, as Mickey said, we made a number of changes, and perhaps surprisingly, we thought we should make changes, didn't expect to see them in some ways. So, Cass and Virgil come in for Tav, which was, I think we said on Friday night, if it was going to be a game to rest Tav, this was probably going to be the only one over the next few weeks. Proper came back in for Suter, who was rested. Neil played for Lawrence, who was injured, obviously with his knee injury, and Igamani for Dessa. So, 4 changes to the team that played on Saturday, or sorry, played on Thursday night. St.Mirren started pretty well, looked pretty decent. I don't know what it was like watching the TV, but at the game they were playing a 5-4-1, but pressing quite high and pushing quite far forward. They had the decent chance within the first 10 minutes, and then we got the goal, which was good play by Bajrami, sorry. Ball went back to Raskin. Raskin, rather than hitting the boom on rear, as he does most of the time, hit the ball on target. Keeper saved it, and Diamande finished. So, just your thoughts, Ricky, on that first goal?
No, we needed it again. I mean, we needed it. It was, like you said, St. Mirren started the game probably the better team. And I wonder if it's, like, although Scottish football's quite poor, I would say the managers, like, we've got some decent managers in the Scottish game. And I think they've got Coman's tactics down to a T, because we never change anything. Our subs are like for like. So I actually think St. Mirren had a good plan. They came to Ibrox. They weren't sitting back. They put the big boy up front on proper, completely on purpose, and fired high balls into him. And we were all over the place defensively, and they were creating some good chances. And the goal came. We got the goal, and you were thinking, okay, brilliant. The same as through the week against Stilla. Got the goal. You were hoping the team was going to settle down, and you were going to start seeing some patterns and some good passing and some maybe create some chances. But it went the complete opposite. It went back to complete side-to-side passes, quite boring to watch. And to be honest with you, the whole of the first half after we scored, it was quite a boring watch. It was quite. I don't think I can't think of one other chance we had except for the goal in the first half. So pretty disappointed, and it has to improve. So
we get the goal. Nothing much happens the next 10, 15 minutes, Davey. Then St. Mirren get a corner. Corner comes in. I think it's Gogic, who must be about 45 by now. He's been about for that many years. He scores with a good header from his side, and we start claiming a foul. I don't know your thoughts on that goal and how it went when it came about.
Yeah, I think there's a couple of people who are definitely culpable here. And the first one I want to touch on is Jack Butland. And I also want to address Scott Kearney in the comments, who sometimes thinks that, we're all negative and it's a bit like a pile-on for Clement. All of us are fans and supporters, go to games. All we want is our team to win at the end of the day. And for far too long, our team haven't been winning. And we're looking for that to be addressed. So it's not a negative pile-on. We're looking or talking about what we see as potential solutions, because we're sick of seeing the same rubbish. This is Rangers. The standards are there, and we have to demand them as fans, because if that doesn't transcend to the boardroom, to the management and playing staff, then absolutely nothing will change. And for far too long, it's been allowed to continue. And I think if you look at that goal that we lost, it's a goal that we lose quite regularly, a goal from a set piece. You look at Jack Butland, I think when he comes for crosses, he often misjudges the flight of the ball. I think it's a weakness in his game. For somebody who is so meant to be commanding for the size of him, he really is not, for me, the answer. I do not see a Rangers number one goalkeeper in Jack Butland. And for me, the difference in a Rangers number one goalkeeper is they win you games. Look at Alan McGregor, look at Stefan Klos, look at Andy Gorham, look at Chris Woods. They all win you the big games. Make that save at Parkhead in a key moment in the game that keeps you in the game, and you win and you walk away with a 1-0 or a 2-1. Jack Butland does not have that in his locker in his Rangers career. Far too often, he's culpable for mistakes in big games, and he has been ever since he was 18-year-old and first broke into the England team. He doesn't command his box or organise his defence how you would like a goalkeeper to do. For me, he's not all-encompassing. If you look at him, I think a big worry for me is with the ball at his feet as well. We look really under pressure when we have the ball between our centre halves, and it's a wee short triangle between Butland, between whether it be Suter or Proper or Balogun, Casemiro, whoever's there. We really, really struggle with the ball in the back line, and that causes us pressure, because then teams gain 10, 15 yards on us and presses in the edge of our own box. It's a pattern of play that happens regularly. The manager and coaching staff never seem to address. Look at Proper, very weak in the air when the cross came in. He's caught between marking the zonal space and whether to go and attack the man. Somebody has to address these situations. They happen far too often, and I'm fed up with it. For me, I don't understand how you can be a coach and see the same patterns of play happening regularly, not address them, yet concede the same goals every week or every second week. It has to be addressed.
No, I think there's a balance, isn't there? You could argue, some people will argue it was a foul on Butland. I thought it was a bit soft personally, but funnily enough, when he first joined us, he would come out quite commanding the box. It doesn't seem to have done that more, whether it's a tactical shape thing or whether there's a particular reason for it. It doesn't seem to come out and grab at crosses as much as he was. So we lose the goal, 1-1. I think, as Ricky says, not much happens for the rest of the first half. Half time, make a change, Scott. We bring on Dessers for Iggerman. Right call?
I didn't think Iggerman was that bad. I thought he lacked a bit of service, but I thought he was getting himself into good areas of the park. He was moving defenders about. But I was actually saying to you, I don't know if I said draft him with the ball next time. I said, I want to go with 2 up top, see what happens then. See, I just been light for light. But Dessers comes on. We know what Dessers offers. He can be good or he can be bad. There's no line between me. Dessers, and he come on and done his usual stuff. He fell over the ball, he moaned when he got touched, and then did he set up equaliser? It came off as at one player, but we say he was involved in it. He got to the byline, didn't he, and tried to cut it back, and he missed a few chances. So we know what he offers. But I thought Iggerman was unlucky with taking off. I'd have went with 2 up front, I'd have took Diamond off, but I'm more the manager.
I think my take while watching Iggerman was he was outside the box majority of the game. He does a lot of good work to the left, to the right, but wasn't between the sticks a lot of the time, which is maybe a bit of an issue when you have nobody else getting into the box. If you've got Lawrence maybe playing or somebody else is pushing in, that's maybe all right. But if you need
I thought Diamandi, Gary, was, if you watch the first half, Mandy was off a lot of time in front of Iggerman because he was coming that deep. But so that's how I said I'd have probably maybe took Dio off and put Iggerman behind Dessers, because I think Dessers needs somebody running for him. I think he needs somebody making runs off him, working the ball more, because he can't do that, Dessers. So maybe playing the 2 of them. You never know if it's going to work until you try it. I thought Sunday was a perfect opportunity, but you never done it.
Yeah, and to be fair, I think Dessers comes on and whether people like him, dislike him, he done a lot of things. I think I said in one of our group chats, the one thing you can't accuse him of not getting involved in every game that he plays in. Whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, he's always involved in the game. Sometimes it comes off, a lot of time it doesn't, but it certainly made a difference in terms of how we went on. So 69 minutes into the game, he beats 2 men, and it was really good bit of skill. The flicks over down the side, and then the cut back takes a deflection. Your thoughts, David, on that goal?
Sorry, Walter is putting me off, to be honest. But I thought Dessers, for everything that he failed to do on Thursday night, sort of had that inner determination for that particular goal. He chased what could have been a lost cause. I don't think the control was great, but he showed the endeavour there, and at the end of the day, picked up the cutback. And again, Czerny, as he has been in recent weeks, has been in the right place at the right time, calm and composed, finished. I certainly think we deserve to take the lead in the fixture on the balance of play in the second half. But equally, you know, if we'd been down 2-1 at half time, I don't think we could have complained because of the lack of chances in the first half. That's the problem with Dessers. You get one good moment like that, but for the last 5 or 6 games, he's been absolutely honking, and it's the lack of consistency amongst the majority of players that really upsets you, because you can see what they can do. And I think for the physique Dessers, the physical prowess that he has, you would expect him to shrug more people off the ball and create more sort of space for himself in tight areas like that in and around the box. But sometimes he just seems to be far too occupied with, you know, being touch tight with defenders and looking to go down and looking for the easy option rather than doing, you know, the hard bit to give himself the opportunity for the easy bit. And that really concerns me for Dessers. And again, he's at an age profile now where he's 30. So if that's his game and that's in his locker, you're not going to be able to coach that out of him, unfortunately.
So I suppose there's a question here. We know what he is, we know what he does, we know what he's going to do. And David, still on you. He is what the player that he is at 30-year-old. Do you think? And he scores goals, he creates assists, he falls over the ball, he tries to dribble by himself and trying the traffic cone at times. But the problem is he is all we have. And sometimes it's maybe not his fault that the other options aren't quite there.
I think the problem for him as well, he's a reactive player. He's not instinctive. And for me, a good striker is instinctive. Anything that happens for Dessers is by default and not design. That's just the type of profile he is. He maybe be somebody that got lucky because he has that athletic build, but I don't see a number 9 striker at the top level in him for me. And I get, yes, we're Rangers and we have a budget that's not akin to what the top leagues in Europe pay, unfortunately. But I still think you get more bang for your buck, even within the domestic league. If you are, whatever he is, 6'1", 6'2", have that physical prowess and can't hold the ball up, that's a major question mark for me. And if we're having to, as you say, Gary, rely on him, that's the problem for us. You cannot rely on a player with that type of profile, unfortunately. So we are hindered by that. And again, the longer he remains your number 9, then the longer that you're going to be hindered by that process, because we need somebody who can be all-encompassing as a striker, who can link the play, who can hold the ball up, who can get in behind and stretch defences, who can be Johnny on the spot for an easy finish. And unfortunately, with the type of strikers that we have at the moment, I do not see that type of player there at the club, despite having spent massive amounts of money on strikers. 6 million on Danilo, 3.5 million on Dessers, and 2.5 million on Igamani, who for me is a development player, is a guy who we should maybe be looking to Hamburg in Bundesliga 2 and sending him there for a year and say, with the partnership good with the clubs, let's develop this player and see if there's a striker there. But why are we wasting 2.5 million in our summer budget when we are in the absolute mire as a club just now? We've not got time for development signings. We need somebody that can do it right now.
So the game, I suppose, as the game goes on, Ricky, we kind of build into it more. We start creating odd chances. I think Tav comes on after an hour. Kisson Wears moves to centre back. Proper obviously goes off. We'll cover some of the players individually in a moment. But I looked at him in some ways, you could argue someone maybe had puffed himself out by that point, and we were then starting to take control. And in the end, it was relatively comfortable. I don't remember much happening that towards the end that caused any danger. Yeah,
no, I agree. St Mirren put a lot into that first half performance and they were excellent. In the start of the second half, exactly the same thing. They had something to hold on to, so we needed that goal from Czerny. And when Tav came on, you're speaking about Dessers, man. Tav put 2 great crosses, like old Tav, into the box, right on the 6-yard box. And we've got nobody there. There's nobody from the other side bursting it. It's like we go on about coaching, like, this drives me crazy, like, this drives me absolutely nuts, right? We put crosses in the box, Yefty does it, Tav does it from the right. It's like our players are just standing still, like snowmen in the middle of the box. Nobody has any movement. Dessers is never looking like he says. He's not instinctive. He's never looking like he's going to get on the end of a cross. And it drives me absolutely bananas. But as you said, St Mirren tired a bit. We created a few chances. Dessers goes clean through, beats the goalkeeper. All he has to do is tap it in the net, but no, he goes down and looks for a penalty. Right, come on now. It's like he's not scored in 6 matches. He's got that great chance, get the goal. But one positive I will say, I thought Czerny was decent again. He wasn't as possessed as he was on Thursday. He was like 9 out of 10 on Thursday. But I did think Czerny had a good match. In the second half, you could see what him and Barami can offer to the team. I thought both of them in the second half really came into the match. They were creating chances. They were starting to play. They were starting to have a few patterns of play. And I don't know if you left, Gary. I think Kerr left with 10 minutes to go. And he missed. He missed. Well, the subway while Kerr getting back to Walter, snoring like a pig. Can we get Walter to do the team talk against Aberdeen on Wednesday? Because I think if he did, we've probably got more chance of getting the 3 points, to be honest. So I'm making a petition to get Walter to do the team talk. No, back to the serious stuff. No, I think we created a few chances the last 10 minutes when St Mirren tired. But again, overall, we've got to do a lot better at Ibrox with performance. We need to see a lot. We need to see... and I know it's difficult because there's a lot of players in and out of the team, which we need to do now. with Europe on a Thursday night. I mean, maybe we are a little bit. We have to understand that this is the first time the players have played so many matches. You know, we can all laugh and say, okay, John Souttar was dropped because of the sports science and stuff like that, but no team has ever played this amount of games in Europe, and then with your domestic stuff as well. So we do need a squad. The problem for us is our squad is just, we don't trust our youth players for some reason, and our squad is just not strong enough for Thursday, Sunday. So maybe it is going to be a slog. With these European matches, because there's not much respite in the calendar coming up. There's so many games coming up. So, but I would like to see a much better performance in the future. But we'll see how we get on Wednesday night against Aberdeen.
So we win the game, and Raskin gets man of the match at the announcer. He certainly grew into the game as it went on, Scott. You know, it seemed to, that's 2 games now in a row. He's probably one of our better players. What do you think he's bringing to the team, Scott?
I'm just on mute again. I'm on mute because I don't want to be water. It's going to be tougher to use. I just think he's bringing a bit more urgency, but I think he's formally good understanding the bar, and I think if one's going forward, one's sitting, and vice versa. I think Clement's even came out and praised him, saying this is probably the best run of games, which is only 2 to be fair to him, but since he came in and get injured and try to play and he's been injured again. And I think he has to get back to the player we seen when he first signed. I think there's still a player there. He's got a lot of convincing to do to the fans and probably to himself as well, but I do think there's a player in who we're asking, but he has to be consistent in the part. He can't play 2 or 3 games then get injured, so it'll be good to see him getting a run of games, but maybe it'll be the same as sports like the same. Maybe he can't play these games in a row. But see, when you're a club at Rangers or any big club, you're in Europe, you're in Leeds, you have to play a lot of fixtures in a row. There's no getting away from it, and that's why the wage bill's big and we've got a lot of players. So the manager has to be clever the way he uses them. You can't say they're 20 games. I don't like that excuse. It's not an excuse for me. It's just, it's a get-out clause, isn't it? I mean, it's like get a deal-free card for Monopoly. It's like, there's too many games, we're only one eventually. That's the way you look at it. If you're in Europe, you challenge, you play a team for that, and then in a league, you play a team for that. Hundred teams have done it, we've done it ourselves in the past. And if we want to be a big club like the Sabia, we have to continue doing it.
I suppose there is the argument will be it's you're playing Sunday, then you've got a day of rest on the Monday, a little bit of light training on the Tuesday, and you're playing again the Wednesday. So there probably is, in this day and age, different versions of how fitness is developed, isn't it? David Tierney, that's now, if I'm reading that right, 5 goals in 4 games. He has been heavily criticised for being one-footed, being a little bit slow, a little bit frustrating, to say the least. Do you think he's now starting to find his role in the team?
I hope so, Gary, but three games isn't enough to convince me. You judge consistency over maybe a 10, 15 game stretch. I think the problem is that the formation doesn't help him. He likes to play his best stuff coming inside, and he's more comfortable inside the pitch than he is on the outside. But sometimes there is a reliance on a winger at Rangers to go on the outside, and I just don't think he has that in his locker. He's neat and tidy with his one-touch stuff, and he does create some decent things for us. But I think the closer you can get him to the box, almost if we were to change the formation, if he's going to persist with this 4-2-3-1 or a variation in it, then maybe almost go back to the Steven Gerrard type where you sort of play with 3 number 10s and they all interchange. I think you would get more out of Tierney that way than you would as a guy that's hugging the touchline. And again, you could use Barami on the other side, and whether the other 10 be, Lawrence or a Hadji, Diamandi, for example, it's not all predictable and sameish for opposition to have the football played in front of them. You've got scope there for fluidity and everybody to interchange with each other and keep teams guessing. And for me, you would see a better version of Tierney if we saw some sort of variation in our front line. I think what doesn't benefit him is that Tav likes to, come from deep and carry the ball and create from a wide position. And sometimes we still get our best chances created from that. So he has to create space for Tav with his movement off the ball. And because of that, I think he gets caught in two minds several times, and maybe it'll just be a sort of gradual process that if we continue this formation, it'll become repetitive and he'll know where to be and pick up the spaces in the pitch. But for me, it still looks a bit disjointed, and we're not all singing on the same hymn sheet.
So similar, I suppose, there is an argument that he is the type of player he is. His game is built, his whole career's been built around cutting inside. A lovely left foot in terms of finishing, there's no denying that. And is it maybe sometimes our expectation of what a winger's going to do is different maybe from what, I don't know what you call it nowadays, inside forward or whatever that type of role is. His role is not necessarily going to be running down the wing, crossing the ball in the same way that perhaps wingers done in the past. And you look at Man City, you look at all the other teams, that's not, they very rarely do anything other than the same sort of thing. I do wonder whether there's a little bit of a learning for fans at times, maybe, which maybe moves me on to the other one. So Hefty, he started the season, Ricky joined us, and he was bombing down that wing like a breath of fresh air. And I think we spoke Scott yesterday briefly. For some reason now he gets the ball and he appears to cut inside every time, whereas Bayrami, who is a number 10 and is better operating around the edge of the box, seems to hang very wide. And again, it goes back to what Davey says, is there maybe some sort of tactical way that the reason for that, or is it just the way he's adapting to Scottish football?
No, I think it's definitely a tactical thing, because you look at his matches, like you said, the earlier matches, he was getting in really good positions. That was why he was a bit frustrating, because he was really good at all the hard stuff. He'll beat a man, he had pace, and then he would be in a fantastic position, and then his cross, he was always putting these 40 crosses into the box, and there was nobody there to get on the end of them, which was quite frustrating. So I don't know if the managers they're maybe working on his crossing on the training ground, and maybe the manager said, rather than cross it into the box and we're getting no joy out of it, you just get into the position, cut inside, give it to Bayrami, because they know that he's got the quality to get the assist, and obviously he got the assist for a double assist or whatever you call it now for the Raskin for the Diamande goal. So I think it's something that's definitely been coached. But I said the same for Tav. You can put as many crosses into the box as you want. If there's nobody there to get on the end of it, then it's absolutely pointless. So you speak about Czerny and that, and I think Czerny has been really good, but I think still our midfield looks very disjointed with our front three. We don't seem to be that's how it's quite turgid to watch. We don't seem to be able to get patterns of play going and seem to link up that great. I mean, Lawrence was scoring good goals, but you couldn't really see any. He wasn't that good at playing through balls or linking things with the wingers and stuff. Diamande got the chance, and I didn't think that was the right decision to play him in the 10, but he got the chance yesterday, and it's exactly the same thing. He's not linking up with the wingers. It seems there was a massive gap between Diamande, the striker, Raskin and Barron. I thought Raskin and Barron were okay, but the massive gap, I think when you see that as the manager just should be on the touchline. You must have seen it at the game, guys. He should be on the touchline telling, look, squeeze up, get the defence squeezed up so the team is playing. Like when we were with Gerrard, we used to play in spaces on the pitch, and now it just seems like we're very, very stretched as a team. And again, that comes down to coaching from the manager, and it has to get better.
No, I wouldn't disagree in some cases there. Scott, I'm going to bring you the more challenging discussion now, and the more balanced one. So, Casson Wirjo started at right back, and my personal view was he wasn't great. He was average. He was all right. Didn't do a lot wrong, but didn't do a lot right either. He then comes on, moves into the centre half after an hour. Because Proper and I think, as you said earlier on, Balogun weren't very good. Proper was really bad. Made Balogun look good, who was pretty bad as well. To be honest, I suppose looking at the game, obviously Souttar's a number one pick for centre half. Proper and Balogun struggled badly. The defence didn't really work. Your thoughts on it?
No, it didn't. I think it was down to Proper. I think Balogun was nervous. I think he was constantly thinking, I'll need to cover him in a second. And I don't know, that's 2 games in a row I said Proper, but we don't know as a manager maybe made a wrong decision bringing him in. As one of these guys that's going to be like, we've had it in the past, sign up for him and come January maybe they'll let him back out, I don't know. Or is it just 2 bad games and maybe we'll pick it up and come back to maybe the player we expected to sign. But I thought he played okay at right back. I know he had a couple of loose passes, but he was trying to get it forward, he was trying to get in tandem with Czerny. They've not played together often. He can play on the left side as well, as you know. And I thought when he went into centre back, he was more commanding. He's very athletic. He's strong. Yeah, he runs with the ball really well, I think. And to me, I think he's a better centre back. Just from what I've seen briefly, I think he looks more comfortable there. He doesn't shirk out any challenges. He wants the ball, he shouts for it. He's talking to people around about him. For a young guy, I know we're obviously young guys, but he's 22. He's been about and he played with under 21s for the Dutch international side. So it's not like he's not played a lot of football. But I think going forward, I'll be play him and Suter to see how it goes. I think Proper needs time out. Balogun, I think he'll do a job when he comes in, but I don't think he's wanted per every week. And I think the big one with Casemiro and Suter, but it just says about Sterling, doesn't it? Because Sterling was in front of him at one point, and then now he's in front of Sterling. So listen, there's changes that the manager can make, but it's up to him to make them. But he seems to like this some information that he wants to put players in. I still say we get better players if maybe went to 3-5-2, but I just my personal opinion. It doesn't mean I'm wrong, it doesn't mean I'm right. Just I think that, but the way we play, we're still far too open. We're easily, I'm not saying we're easily broke. It's just simple long balls of people they place and seem to just fold. So, and we got away with it against St.Mirren because the big boy up front, listen, running, he was strong, he was athletic, but his finishing was poor apart from when he scored when he was well offside. But that's the reason he's at St.Mirren. But guys like we've seen it against Livingston, the big centre forward they had at one point doing the same to, I think it was Suter at a time. So it's too easy for teams coming against us, and I think that if you keep Proper on the team now, Aberdeen's get score up front who's decent. He's not the best striker, but he's physical. I think if he sees Proper, he thinks I'm having him. So I think it's time to take Proper out of fire now and put maybe somebody else in next to Suter. A Suter slip for me.
So see, you counter argue that. So our clean sheet record's probably better than it's been most seasons. I'm not sure exactly, but certainly Proper. As you say, started first game, but Ropey then had a pretty good spell. Him and Suter together.
I thought against Kumar, Gary, but he was nervous. And I thought yesterday he looked very nervous. He didn't want the ball at times. He was scared to make a mistake. You can't have that if you're a defender. You can't have that. It just goes through the team that goes into the goalie. You have to maybe just take him out and say, listen, sit on the bench for a couple of weeks and see how you go. Maybe do a couple of more times in training, or maybe just change the formation. But I think Nana, as a contrast, I think put him at the back. He looks confident. He's 22. He's going to be confident. He's going to believe in himself. I didn't mention him, but probably he's 31. He's been used to playing a style in Dutch football, whereas you can swanter up to the half line with anybody pressing you and then pass it left to right. I'd do along the islands. He's been used to that with 20, but coming to Rangers, it's a different level. I'm not saying it's worse or better than Dutch football, but you're playing against guys he's never played with before. Physical guys who chase you, who annoy you, who nip you, stuff like that. And he's not used to doing that in Dutch football. He's been getting away with things, just walking up and swirling about because that's the way that's played over.
I'm going to pick up a point just because Gary mentioned it earlier on about Balogun. I'm just going. We don't normally talk about Balogun much, but I'm going to give an opinion on him because it's something that I often think that he gets a hell of a lot of praise with not a lot of evidence to back it up. He's passing, and I don't know about you at the game, Jim. I always think his passing is woeful, and more often than not, that can put you into trouble. He looks really good defensively because what he does is he recovers from bad position to make a good tackle. That's not to say that I don't think he's a good guy. He's a good guy about squad, but I think there's sometimes a bit of an undue praise about his actual level of ability. And I certainly, if we're going to the game against Aberdeen Wednesday, it'll be Suter and, as I say, Casemiro or Proper. I don't think Balogun should be one of our first pick centre-halves at this point in time. Anyway, that's about a rant. That's just because I think he's never really, nobody ever really talks about him. He's just always there and in and out of the squad. So I suppose I'm going to pick up, Davey, right? We are now 5 home games in, 5 wins, 13 goals, 2 conceded. We're not scoring enough, clearly, in some games. But are we, I suppose, as the boss says, is it as bad as everyone's saying?
I would have to say, if you're going into an Aberdeen game where I feel the manager in his post-match press conference is almost playing down the fixture in terms of expectations from a Rangers point of view, where he's saying that they are title challengers or title contenders. Now, whether you subscribe to the fact that they are, I want a Rangers manager to come out and say that this is a team that we have to beat. It's a must-win game. It's a must-win fixture. And I get that he's under pressure. He won't probably come out and say that, but Rangers going to Aberdeen, I expect 3 points every time. Now, I know since we've come back into the top league, I think we've played them 7 times and 13 times, and we've dropped points in 7 of those fixtures. So it's not a good record in recent history. He speaks about the atmosphere in the fixture, and we did well up there last year. It was a horrible game, and we never really were in it. It was a poor goal that Goldson and Balogun, funny enough, that you mentioned there, Gary, conspired to lose with Miovski, ball over the top. And we didn't play well in the game. We got a penalty in the last minute. I just really don't think the report card is good. And I'm really worried about where we are. Because if we go 9 points behind in October, that for me is unacceptable of any Rangers team. And the manager should pay the price for his job. And I don't care if it's sack, repeat, and we're back to square one. He's had a go at it. If you've been in and had the reins for a year, you have had a decent net spend. And what I mean with that is he spent considerable sums of money on players, and he's actually made a team that was really poor worse. And that is the reality of the situation with Philip Clement in the hot seat for me. We are not an improved side upon last season. If anything, I think you could argue there was more options in the team last season. Anytime he makes a tactical substitution, it's not a tactical substitution. It's like for like. It's a player coming off the bench to replace a player that's played in that position. And I really, really worry about where we are. Now, saying that, I want us to win, I expect us to win, and I hope we win. And perhaps that'll put a sort of brighter opinion on things going forward. However, I think it'll just be almost as if he's walking the plank, walking the tightrope until the next poor dropped points or failure to win a big game, and then we're back having the same conversations. We've seen it too often now. This is where we are, and under Philip Clement, I can't see things getting any better because he hasn't changed anything. Most managers look at their squad options, and as Kerr alluded to, it looks like we've got the profile of players to switch to 3-5-2 and perhaps would be more comfortable playing that, but he doesn't look to address that. He keeps playing the same way. And that, for me, is a major red flag for a Rangers manager.
So, Ricky, take it a bit further then. So, we've talked a lot. Lots of people say at the start of the season, this is a transition season. We're in a transition. We need the time. So, we've had 6 wins in the league, 1 draw, 2 defeats. We're in a semi-final League Cup. We didn't qualify for the Champions League, however, doing pretty well in Europa League. I suppose, what does a transition season look like? What should that be?
Do you get a transition season as the manager of Glasgow Rangers? I don't know. I think Chris Boyd pretty much hit the nail on the head. I mean, a transition season to me, if you've got to see something, you've got to... I'll put it this way. If Clement is the manager in 1 year's time from now, what are we going to be saying? And is the team going to be any further forward? If Clement is the manager in 2 years' time, I mean, I think right now, if you had a crystal ball and fans could sign up to, okay, we're going to go through 1 season of absolute pain, but in a year's time, you're going to be challenging, fans would sign up for that 100% because, okay, we've got some youth players in the team he's brought in. I still think we've got good players, Gary. That's the problem, eh? And I totally agree with Kerr. I think this team is so could be set up 3-5-2, even against Aberdeen on Wednesday. I would be using it as a dress rehearsal for when we play Celtic because I think 3-5-2 makes us a lot more solid. You've got the full-backs there that are web bombing forward, and then you've got a little bit of protection for Tav at right back. But with we're using these words like transition, and that, I mean, his press conference after the game, come on, he's winding the fans up. The things that he's saying about, these players need time, they're just in the door. But and then you see Aberdeen with all the points they've got. It's not washing with the supporters, and that is what is. Supporters are getting very angry with the way the stuff that he's saying in press conferences and stuff like that. So, are we going to be any further than a year or 2 years' time? In my opinion, I'm going to give him until this Aberdeen and Celtic games. But he has to beat Aberdeen on Wednesday, and they actually believe that they've got 3 points in the bag. So if we can't use that, this is the problem with this dressing room and these players. If we can't use that as ammunition, they're speaking on report in Scotland at the weekend. Oh, Aberdeen are favourites. They're going to beat Rangers. This is Graham Shinnie, Duke, players like that, man. We should be going up there, putting on a good performance, get the 3 points, and the tide will turn. You'll get the fans back on side. If we manage to do that and we manage to reduce the gap, fans will get back on side again. But if we go up there and we put on a poor performance and we don't come away with the 3 points, then we all know what's going to happen. The cries, we've got Celtic games coming up, and he'll maybe survive until January. But if the form doesn't get much better and very fast, then I don't see how he's going to survive, to be honest.
So that moves us nicely on the preview of the game on Wednesday night. So Aberdeen are second in the league, or second in the top, can't remember. But anyway, 8 wins and a draw from 9 games. I've not really seen them, so I can tell you whether they've been overperforming, underperforming. Thanks to Curry for the donation. So I suppose what we've never done well at Pittodrie, and so we said we do struggle there. My first question, Davey, I'm going to put you on the spot. Relatively simple, straightforward, yes or no. Would you be satisfied with a draw come 10 o'clock on Wednesday night?
No.
Why not?
Because it's unacceptable at this point. I believe Rangers, regardless of who the manager and the squad set up, this is Rangers. This is about winning leagues, winning league titles, defending those league titles, winning trophies, defending those trophies, and repeating that cycle. Far too often we've accepted repetitive failure in recent years. So if we go, 8 points, 9 points behind, 7 points behind by the end of October, that's unacceptable. We have to bear in mind, the manager said towards the end of last season, give me a pre-season and I'll get these players fitter. When he realised that pre-season was going tits up, and we all seen it by how we were playing, he decided to say, give me to October, November, December, you'll see improvements in this team. We're not seeing these improvements. He's patronising us and lambasting us with platitudes, saying that, things are better. Things aren't better. Things aren't improving. So for me, success is how you define a Rangers manager, and also how a Rangers manager handles pressure, how he's answered press conferences and recently, from Stevie Clifford last week, and how he took that sort of almost narcissistic attitude and approach towards him when he answered that question. That's unbecoming a Rangers manager for me, because we all see, what we see with our own eyes, and we have played a lot of long ball and side-to-side football this season, and both can be true. So for the manager...
Was Gerrard not the same, David? Was Gerrard not the same? I remember Gerrard lots of times being quite condescending to reporters.
Steven Gerrard was a winner, ultimately. He was a winner as a player, and he was a manager. And I know folks say, you get 3 seasons to do it. But as Ross Clark rightly alluded to in the comments, he always at least matched Celtic 50-50 in the big games for the start of his first season. And ultimately, he had a better win percentage against them in the balance. I think it was up at 60-odd% when he left. He had the better of the fixture over them. He went on a 7-match unbeaten run before he left. Clermont can't even get a win against them. He can't even address how they play. Brendan Rodgers seen that Dujon Sterling was pressing Callum McGregor in the last fixture after 10 minutes. And what he done was he sidestepped the Rangers press and moved Callum McGregor to a different part of the pitch to receive the ball and played through the Rangers press. And Clermont couldn't address that at all as a manager. So tactically for me, I'm not seeing anything to cling on to. So if it goes to 7, 8, 9 points, I expect the fan pressure to mount and it to be insurmountable for whoever's there at the boardroom to act, because it is unacceptable, and fans need to stop this happy clapping nonsense. And I agree to disagree, but Rangers is about winning, and see, unless we all start adopting that, And by that, I mean fans, board, coaching staff, player staff. We're never going to be winners again, because what we're seeing and what we've been getting for far too long is unacceptable.
So, David, it's a valid point. I'm going to try and stick to the Aberdeen game because we are running short of time. So, we'll stick to that. We'll come back to some other maybe Friday night if all goes badly. In terms of Aberdeen, Scott, have you seen much of them? I mean, they're obviously performing well. Do you think they will come out and play against us, which might actually help us as a team?
They know if they come out and attack us, we could freeze. That's the issue. Obviously, they've been watching us a few times, and they've seen us freeze at times, and they've seen us if we lose goals or a goal, we really get the mentality to get back into the game. We've done it a lot, so I think going up there on Wednesday night, listen, I think if you offer the manager a draw, he would probably take it, but I'm kind of 50-50. I know it's not the Rangers' way, but I think the problem with Rangers at the moment, the issue is not just with the manager, the issue is with the full setup, board level right down. But I think some of the players, the manager, have switched off. Because you've heard rumours coming out that they're already saying they're going to be here longer than the manager. And I think if the manager's telling them stuff constantly, I know doing it, but he's telling them to do it again, the players maybe don't understand that he's telling them, or they don't want to listen to him. The kids are like, listen, I can't do that. That's not my strengths. That's not my. I don't really know what's going on, but I just feel the longer we stick with the manager, I feel it's going to get worse. I do, honestly, and I know it's no Rangers way, as folks saying site managers, but that's also no reason to keep them, like I said to you before, Gary. But the problem is with the boardroom, no CEO, no academy director, whatever. Where do they go? Would you trust that board to pick another manager? Because I wouldn't. Their track record's no great. If they get money to sack him, probably not. So, and I think Clement knows that to a point. I think he's away. He knows this could go worse. He's still going to get time to try and turn it about. But I don't know if he can do that, because I've not seen any in games we have struggled that he tries something different. See, if he tries something different and never worked, you would say, well, he's trying other things. But he's sticking to the same kind of formation. He's trying to get these players to do roughly the same things. And as I've said and Davey said, when he makes changes, he's just putting another player in the exact same position, even though it might not be his position. So, it's not great. I mean, I said earlier on that what they give him out this season, what they give him so far, I say 5 out of 10. And I'm probably still at that. Some of the players have looked decent. Some of the signings have been okay, and you can see there's potential there. But as a manager, I think my management skills are poor. I don't think they're great away. Maybe opposite players 1-on-1. I think that's poor. I think he's a bit like Mark Warburton. He's got a plan A, and if plan A doesn't work, we'll do plan A better. Basically, it doesn't seem to change. And I know Aberdeen. People are saying Aberdeen's on the greatest side, they aren't, but they're on a run. They're full of confidence. And again against Dundee United were very unlucky against them. But both of them are physical, and both of them are quick players. United troubled us at Paradise, and only got the one because Lawrence got a fine goal. But we're having moments in matches. We're not winning matches because we're playing well and creating a lot of chances. We're winning through moments. Whereas Aberdeen, they created a lot of chances in games. And if you went to, I know I'm picking things that's no worth listening to, but if we were 2 down at Celtic Park, or Parkhead, if you like to call it, we want to come back and draw 2 each. Because the mentality of that players at the moment, they'd have sunk, they'd have hid, and they've just wanted to find a whistle to blow. Whereas they fought on and come back 2 each. Because it shows you Celtic are probably the best in the league, but I'm not as good as everybody thinks. And Aberdeen's not great either. But at this moment in time, both of them are better than us, what we're showing. So there's no point sitting here saying they aren't. So we have to go there Wednesday night and put up a fighting performance and not go for a draw, go for a win. There's no point in going for a draw. If you go for a draw, you're going to get beat. So yeah, it's in your mindset, we'll get a draw here. No, you don't go for a draw, you go for the win. But that's up to the manager and install that in his players. And then still, some of the players have got to look at himself as well. I know players always say, if he gets a sack, next manager comes in, he'll play better for him. That's no way to look at it either. Look at yourself in the mirror and say, listen, I want to prove to the fans, I want to prove to whoever the manager is, I should be playing every week. So someone's got a point to prove, but the manager's got a lot to prove to me still before he he's here for next season. I think there's a lot of twists and turns to come, Gary.
So we're against the clock now. So in terms of looking at can I ask some of the bigger questions then? Do you think that, Ricky, pick your back four from here now?
Probably back four. It'll be Tavernier. I would go Suter and Casemiro, and then Yefte for the back four.
David, do you think Dessers comes back in, or big man up front?
I think he'll start Dessers.
And Scott, with Hadji, Danilo, Ridvan, do you think we'll see any of them at any point on the bench or in the squad?
Hadji, Danilo, Ridvan, no. I think maybe Hadji a push, but Danilo, I think he's anywhere near on the bench. And Ridvan, I don't even know where he is.
Just because Castleweir's well, then do you think he'll play? Do you think he'll start?
I think he has to, because we need somebody physical at the back. They've got a big boy up front that likes to throw himself about, and it doesn't mean he's good, it just likes to get in a physical tussle with defenders. And so we need to get somebody who's physical back, and if you play proper there, Aberdeen will be happy with that, because he knows he doesn't like that side of his game, so we have to play a young boy and just say, go and get stuck in, which I think he will. So I think he has to go with him. Listen, you go with your players in form, you go with your best side at that time, and that's moment in time that does include proper.
David, number 10. Who'll play number 10?
For me, I think, knowing Clement and had seen him for the year, I don't think he will play the person who should play there. I think he'll persist with Diamande probably continuing to play there, and Bajrami will be out on the left-hand side. I think us as fans want to see Bajrami play there and get a run of games in his natural position. However, I think it's obvious that Clement is very stubborn-minded and will persist with the selection at the moment whilst he has a lack of natural wide options in attacking areas.
So we'll now kind of look at the scorelines. Ricky, scoreline and scorers.
I'll be positive and I'll go 2-1 Rangers, and we'll go Czerny first goal, when Dessers will get back on the score sheet. And but I've no way I'm taking a draw. You can stick that right up your beep beep, and there's no way I'm accepting a draw.
Scott, score and scorers.
To be honest with you, I think it'll be a draw. I don't think we'll win. I'm not getting confidence in the side to win. There's no point in sitting here lying. I've not got confidence in that team at the moment to win. We've struggled in the last two games against St.Mirren and Kilmarnock. Aberdeen are far better than they're at home. They're on a high the way they are in the league. I don't think they'll hopefully they don't finish second, but they're on a high because they're playing really well. One's big confidence, which they've got, we've not. So they'll be up for the game. I think the best will get a draw, so I'm going one each.
Yeah, and David, score and scorers for you.
5-0. Racing.
Listen, I hope we win 5-0 as well, but I've not seen enough for the Rangers at this moment in time to have confidence in them. I know we beat Stour, but they were brutal. They were actually brutal. That's the worst Stour Bucharest team I've ever seen in my life. They were brutal. But Europe's different for a league game. Europe, we can get away with it because teams come out against us, whereas Aberdeen will as well, but if I get confidence we're going to split them open, I just don't get any confidence this side at the moment, Gary. I apologise, but I have me.
Yeah. David, do you want another go?
No, I'm going to stick with my 5-0 Raskin. I think Raskin. 5-0. I think at the end of the day, ultimately, what have we got to fear? If you look at Aberdeen, they are set up well, they are coached well. But if you look at their players, would anybody in the summer have looked at their players and wanted to get them as starters for us? We have to be honest and say no. They are a very considerable tight-knit unit, and they are playing well and they have momentum at the moment. But there is weaknesses at the game. If you look at Rubicic, who plays at the back, he's very strong and robust in the tackle, but he can get himself caught in. He can be a wee bit rash. He's got the touch of the Nico Katiches about him in that sense, that parts of the Scottish game will fit him, but other parts won't. And if you can get clever players in and around them on the ball, you can cause them problems. Always want my team to win, always believe my team can win. So why not? I'm not going to deviate for that. Rangers 5, Aberdeen 0, Nico Raskin with the first goal.
Gary,
I'm thinking of on that.
Straight on for that, tomorrow, everybody. You heard it here first. So we're coming to the end of the show. Again, thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. And good to see Davey back. Warm welcome back, Davey. And we will be back on Friday night, hopefully celebrating a win, hopefully celebrating a good performance, and looking forward to a Scottish League Cup final, whatever that's called now. What is it called?
Scottish League Cup semi-final, Gary, not a final.
Looking forward to getting into the League Cup final. And what is it called? Is it League Cup? Is it CIS Cup? Premier Sports. Premier Sports. Who remembers all these ones?
It's nobody surprised to.
Thanks for joining, everybody, and watching and contributing in the comments. It's much appreciated. Take care. See you all soon. Bye now.